Hi everyone, this is Jason from Metal Flesh. Today I'm going to try to rank all of the Raids albums, starting from when they used to be called Avenger. Eventually they had to change their name from Avenger to Raids, only because in the northeast of England, in Newcastle, there is a band called Avenger. Raids have released loads and loads of albums, more than 20. Their music has remained consistent. They haven't really got an album that is bad. Their discography tends to be exceptional all the way to average or just okay, nothing really bad. Right, let's jump straight in. 1985, Pirates of Steel, under the band name of Avenger. This album is rough around the edges. It contains like raw speed metal energy, aggressive vocals, and the overall feel and attitude of the album is like underground speed metal. It's less polished, quite primitive, and you can clearly see PV's vision. Highlights here: Pirates of Steel and Battlefield. This comes to a B tier. A year later, we've got Reign of Fear, the first album as Raids. It's a direct continuation of the previous album. The sound and the construction of the songs, they're more tight. They still remain speed metal with a few thrash metal elements. The production here is more focused. It is a significant step up from Pirates of Steel. To me, it just sounds slightly chaotic in areas. It's still a really good album, not as good as Pirates of Steel. Highlights: Echoes of Evil and Scared to Death. This still comes into B tier, just behind Pirates of Steel. Next year, 1987, Raids have released quite a lot of albums between every year or every 2 years. 1987, Execution Guaranteed. Raids changed their sound here to heavier. They kind of dropped the speed metal elements, and they have built this album around the momentum set by the previous two albums. The band has clearly picked up a new direction. It's more consistent, more confident than Reign of Fear. Highlights here: Hatred and Down by the Law. Execution Guarantee will just come over here on a B tier. 1988, we've got Perfect Man. This is a huge step up. The band starts to play more melodic power metal. We've got very clear production, memorable hooks. It seems to me that PV has actually started singing now. It moves away from speed metal. The structure of the songs are better. There's quite a lot of melody, and it brings some of the heavy metal, thrash and power metal in their music. Massive highlight here: Don't You Fear the Winter and In the Darkest Hour. To me, this is a high A tier. 1989, we see Secrets in a Weird World. What can I say about this album? Start to finish, just exceptional. The band here yet again changes style. They're more melodic, there's more atmosphere and progressive touches here and there. Raids expand their palette by bringing, as stated, all these elements into the music. It's a huge step up from the previous album, and it's from start to finish, this record is amazing. There's not even a single filler. If I had to choose two highlights, I would say Invisible Horizons and Time Waits for No One. This one is From Here to Eternity. 1990, we see the release yet of another album, Reflections of Osaido. The band here adopts a darker tone, stronger songwriting, and the band's confidence is growing. It's not power metal, it's more heavy with, as stated, like a darker tone. To me, I had to listen to this album quite a lot of times to get into it. It's not easily accessible to everyone. This to me is a high B tier, and it goes right here. It has got quite some good highlight moments, but for me, the two songs that really stand out is True Face in Everyone and Dust. 1992, we see the release of Trapped. It's a major breakthrough album, heavier sound, bolder choruses, and the band received international recognition with this album. This is considered as one of their best record in the early period. There are some experiments in their sound, but the band remains focused on what they have to achieve here. Highlights Enough Is Enough and Solitary Man. To me, this is From Here to Eternity. 1993, we've got The Missing Link. Still a strong album, not as good as Trapped. The band start exploring some newer directions. The material is slightly less consistent, as stated, from Trapped, but it's an important release. Highlights here, The Pit and the Pendulum and Nevermore. To me, this comes to an A tier. 1994, 10 Years in Raids, its anniversary album. It contains a few new songs, some older material that got recorded, not released, and they re-recorded with some special guests. And we've got a few songs re-recorded, such as like Prayers of Steel. It's more of a milestone project than a pure studio album. It's a trip down memory lane. Highlights here, Vertigo and No Sign of Life. To me, this comes to a B tier. 1995, Black in Mind. What can I say about this record? The band just jumped to a heavier, more modern sound. They still remain true to their power metal roots. This album consists of loads of songs. There is not a single filler song from start to finish. It's just simply perfect. If I just had to choose two songs, I would say Nameless Time and The Crawling Chaos. To me, this is an A tier. Not even an A tier. From Here to Eternity. 1996, we see the first of two releases in the same year. 1996, at the start, we've got Lingua Mortis. This is the first heavy metal band that released an album with a full symphonic orchestra. This to me is Raids trying to experiment, trying to get out of the comfort zone. It's quite ambiguous and a unique release. The highlights here will be All This Time and In a Nameless Time. To me, this is a A tier. I'm just going to put it here only because of what is about to come, what is about to follow. Second album, 1996, we see The End of All Days. This was my introduction to this band. I regarded this album very high, but obviously visiting what came before and what came after, it kind of dropped in my eyes, but still a very good, consistent album. The band, like stated, they just returned back from their orchestral detour with Heavy Roots, pure power metal album. it kind of it has got a few skippable songs around the middle, but it's a really good album. The only thing I would change here was the production. The production is not as good. Highlights here: Let the Night Begin and Deep in the Blackest Hole. This comes to a B tier, and I'm just gonna hold it here. 1998, Raids releases their 13th album called 13. We've got again the orchestra with complex structures, themed songwriting. Again, Raids show that they can mix speed metal, power metal with orchestra. There's a lot of sophistication that has gone around the composition of every single song. Highlights here from the Cradle to the Grave and Days of December. This is an A tier, and it's gonna come just around here. 1999, we see the release of Ghosts. It's a direct continuation of 13, still like atmospheric, heavier than 13. We still have the orchestra. The songs here, they kind of lose momentum about halfway through. There's a few skippable songs here and there. Highlights: Wash My Sins Away and Beginning of the End. To me, this is a C tier album. 2001, we see Welcome to the Other Side. We see the band going into back to their heavy metal roots with loads of hooks and a few groovy songs here and there. Again, it kind of loses momentum about halfway through. There are a few skippable songs here and there. It's not as easier going as their previous power metal albums. Highlights here: Paint the Devil on the Wall and Straight to Hell. Because there are quite a few skippable songs, I'm just going to put it on a C tier. I might get shot for doing so, but leave a comment below and just let me know. Right, 2002, we see the release of Unity. Band seems re-energized, came back with a clear direction, clear path, heavy metal, power metal, melody, and Raids hit a solid stride here. Strong songs, competent lineup. It's an extremely consistent album. There's less experimentation here, and there isn't a filler song whatsoever here. Highlights: Down and Set This World on Fire. To me, it's a high A tier. I'm just gonna put it right here. 2003, we see Sound Chaser. It's a direct continuation of Unity, but even more energetic, more power metal. It's fast. There's loads of hooks, memorable choruses. It's what Unity should have been. Highlights: War of Worlds and Sound Chaser. To me, this is From Here to Eternity. It just comes right here. 2006, quite a big gap there for Raids, 3 years. They released Speak of the Dead. It's a half and half album. It's half with orchestra and half without the orchestra. It's heavy, it's intense, it's mature. It needs loads of listens just to get into it. It seems that the band just want to step again out of the comfort zone. The songwriting is great. The tone is darker again. It's quite a dark themed album, let's put it that way. There are a few skippable songs. Again, highlights: Innocent and Turn My World Around. It's not one that I revisit quite very often, but I do listen to this one more than Ghosts, so it will go to a C tier just over here. 2008, Carved in Stone. Band walks away from the orchestra again and releases a melodic but heavy power metal album. The riffs are great, the choruses, they stick in your head. The Raids just shows that they can keep like consistent good work, good releases. The quality is great. There are just a few skippable songs here and there, but still like a very consistent release. Highlights: Open My Grave and Drop Dead. To me, this is a B tier. It's just gonna go. I do listen to it more than Execution Guarantees. It's just gonna go just over here. Right, 2010, 2 years later, we see the release of yet another album, Strings to a Web. It's melodic, it's loads of layers. We see the orchestra again for Empty Hollow, which is quite a few songs. It's solid metal. There are a few skippable songs. Some songs are not very memorable. Highlights: Empty Hollow and Into the Light. To me, this will go into a C tier, just right over here. 2012, we see the 21st record by Raids called 21. It's a celebration of their musical career. This one is heavy metal and power metal. Raids went back to their original roots. There is full of energy, there's great guitar hooks. It's not a very consistent album. There are a few filler songs here. This one is not an album that I tend to go back to quite a lot of times. I don't revisit this very often. And it's going to be the first D tier album that I put. Highlights here for me will be 21 and Feel My Pain. 2016, we see the release of The Devil Strikes Again. It's a return to heavier roots. It seems like Raids made a statement that they are alive and relevant. The production is very pristine, very, very clean. You can hear all the little details. I really enjoy this album cover, but there are a few skippable songs. Highlights: The Devil Strikes Again and Oceans Full of Tears. To me, this comes to a C tier, just over here. Let's put it that way. 2017, we see the Seasons of the Black. This is what The Devil Strikes Again should have been. I like the cover a little bit less than The Devil Strikes Again, but the material is better. The band approached like a more melodic side, quite modern sounding sounds or song structures, and they just sound fresh and strong, although it was just a year since the previous release. This is considered like a better release of their modern era. The highlights here will be Black and Karma and Walk Among the Dead. This still remains a C tier album, but it's better than the previous album. 2020, we've got Wings of Raids. It's heavy, dynamic, it's energetic. Quite a few skippable songs here. The material, it might sound like solid. It sounds like it's power metal, it's heavy metal, it's what Raid stands for. It's not a groundbreaking album. I don't visit this one very often. It's gonna be a D tier. highlights here for me, it will be A Nameless Grave and Let Them Rest in Peace. 2021, Raids return renewed, confident, strong. The material here builds on Winds of Raids, but it just seems like the band has picked up momentum again and they're delivering like a high quality album. Songs are there, material is there, PV sounds great again. To me, this is going to be a B tier for quite a long time. It's going to go just over here. Again, highlights, A New Land and Resurrection Day. 2024, bands return with a massive scope, double album. The expectation was huge because it's double album, loads of songs. Again, orchestra and a few songs. It's a perfect blending between heaviness, maturity. It's just, I find this album like Raids just paying tribute to themselves by looking in the past but staring into the future. Again, highlights, Toxic Waves and Roots of Our Evil. To me, this comes to a B tier, and it's just gonna come just over here, and that brings us to 2025 with their latest release, A New World Rising. Band just dropped all of the orchestra staff, dove back to the roots with a pure power metal, heavy metal record. It's a stripped down type production, and every song is about 3 minutes long or so. After a while, after a few listens, every song just kind of blends in together. It's kind of hard to recognize or spot like certain songs. Highlights here for me, Fire in Your Eyes and Innovation. It's not a bad album. It's not as memorable as the previous one, The Afterlife Lines. This one's just gonna go on a C tier. I'm just gonna put it right over here. Right, so there we have it. All of the Raids album and the Avenger album rank from Here to Eternity to Get to the Bane tiers. Until the next time, stay metal.